I'm Julia.
We are two ride or die best friends who are paving the path for what true, authentic relationships look like.
We're facing hardships head on, having real, uncensored conversations, supporting each other's growth, and shining a light on true, raw healing.
We are navigating the world the best we know how,
Having a hell of a time doing it,
laughing every step of the way,
through the rain
and sunshine.
Happy spring.
This is insane.
This is spring in Utah, I guess.
Yeah, this is absolutely spring in Utah. You have one day where you're literally getting sunburned, and then the next day we're back into full-blown winter.
This is crazy. It's a lot of snow, though, not just a little.
Yeah, this is like in a small amount of time.
I almost didn't make it home from the gym.
I was wondering if you had went this
morning.
morning.
And then my gas light came on, and I was like, nope, we can't stop now. Like, it's either the gas station or home. But we can't do both.
We can't do both. I need someone to come get me at the gas station. Yes, I have gas, but
now I'm stuck.
But there's snow.
So eventually, the first place I will be going is the gas station.
Yeah. Which is why people are like, it's so important to keep your gas, like always fill up at half a tank. Like, this is why.
Like what? I feel really called out right now.
Oh.
Are you the kind of person that like fills up every time you get to a fourth? Or does your gas light come on often?
Yes.
Yes.
I have seasons. I have seasons where I'll get to like, if I go to Costco and I have like, even I'm down a quarter tank, I will fill up because I'm at Costco.
Okay.
But the last couple weeks may have had the gas light come on a lot.
Yeah.
I follow no rules.
I mean, we're not that far from the gas station.
Exactly.
Even if we had to walk, which we would never have to do because we have all these neighbors and amazing people.
I have had to walk. When I locked my keys in the car at the gas station, I had to walk home to get another set of keys.
It's not that far.
No. I walk further than that.
Exactly. You walk further than that every single day. So it would be fine no matter what.
No matter
It
what.
would be fine.
It's when you're up the canyon and you run out of gas.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
But yeah, like you said, we have a lot of people. Like my dad always has a gas can full of gas. I'd be like, Dad, now that I have service of the canyon, Dad.
And not in most places, but not all. Like,
What's all where it's shut down now? It is.
Oh yeah. I just imagine us like, on one of the off-roading like.
Okay. So maybe that's
so when you see the big rock, go left.
That looks like Bart Simpson. I love it because that's how I do directions. Not even in the canyon. People are like, "Oh, it's on like 2100," and I'm like, "What's by there?
Yeah.
What color are the signs?
Yeah.
Like, what tree is on the corner? Like,
Yeah.
I need real directions, not these grown-up fake numbers."
Right.
It's rude. Anyway.
Oh man. So I think healing looks different in different seasons. It looks different from person to person, from kid to kid. So what are you doing right now?
So personally, every morning I start my day off. I want intentional time with God, and that happens in two different ways. So thank goodness for apps that make everything so much easier to have access to things. So I want God to see that he is my number one and that he is important to me. And so I want the first thing in the morning to have some sort of connection with him. So there's an app that's got a really cool message with the scripture and a video and just a nice message. It doesn't take much time at all. So I'm able to do that before I like get out of bed and do anything. Yeah. But I got to get my kids off to school. And so it's hard to put in some like decent time with God, but at least I'm showing like, listen, you're important to me that I have this time and I'm going to dedicate it to you. Yeah. And then when my kids are done with school, I go up the canyon and I spend some decent time with him. And so what that looks like is I've got a lot of journals because I like journals. I like
You
books.
do have a lot of journals and notebooks.
I love notebooks. They make me so happy.
I can tell because you keep giving me some.
Yeah. I'm like, because if I love it, then obviously you will. Just write about me in them. It's fine. So I have like a journal that's like a 5-year journal about being a mom, which I love because some of it was stuff that so it's the same question every day for 5 years. So I had start this over 5 years ago. And so I have entrances in there from before the divorce, and to see some of what it was like to be a parent then and now is so cool. And that takes 2 seconds. And then my gratitude journal, which is super important to me. So I do a page of gratitude, and sometimes it's like, I'm grateful for just like things, just like simple things. And other times it's like, I've got 2 things and I'm just writing about all of it. I have my scriptures that I read. And then one of my favorite things is something that you taught me years ago, is connecting with God in a way that's really personal. So my prayers are out loud, and it's like he's sitting in the seat next to me or on the hood of my car with me, and we just have like a conversation. And it's like this. It's not formal. It's not this like, and I feel like it's like I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And I love that, because then I feel like he is my partner.
Absolutely.
Instead of it, when it is formal, it's a little bit harder to get into my emotions, because I feel like I've got this like, it's not natural. And then I just have like a regular daily journal. So it's just stuff that's been happening the last couple of days, or a lot of times while I'm praying, it's like, write this down kind of a thing. Then I have affirmations that I do, and I have some, what is it called? Manifesting app. So I do a 63-second manifesting. Now, not every day do I do it all.
That was going to be my next question, because this sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Even me right now, I'm like, this sounds like a whole lot of things. So you said you don't do it every day. What does that kind of look like? How do you pick and choose what you're going to do each day?
So gratitude is always and always. The 5-year journal is so fast, because it's like, well, I can't remember what, like sometimes it's like, what's something hard you're going through with my kids? And I just go, yes. all the things, right?
Yes. See,
like there's not, the journal's this big for 5 years. So there's not space. And so sometimes I try not to skip my scriptures, because I think that's really important. And the prayer is number 1. So yes, there is a lot of things, but some of them don't take much time.
Right.
Like less than a minute. And I also find that I don't mind that if it takes a long time, because I need that. And so it doesn't feel like, at the beginning, it's interesting. At the beginning, I was like, oh, I got to get all this done. I got to check all the lists.
Right.
And it felt like, I don't want to say a chore, but it felt like I had to get it all done. And now I'm like, I've got to wrap up. I have like work and life I've got to do. And I was like, but I really just want to sit here and do this. Like I end up really enjoying that time. So I don't mind that there's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends what I'm being led to. So I just have prayer and scriptures are the number 1 things, because my time is to be with God, and those are the things that direct me to God. The other things kind of like amp me up to set the tone. And if I don't have the time, or if I already am in the zone and I don't need it, then I can skip it. But at this point in my life, I've done this long enough that I love doing all of it. So I like doing all of it.
Did you feel that way when you first started these things?
No. So I am a list person, and I'm a checklist person. And I feel like this pressure to get it all done. And I'm learning that I need to sit in the moment and figure out what serves me. And so it's been a process. And at the beginning, it did feel like a chore. And I'm like, if I don't get this done, I'm not going to be on my best game to be the best mom I can be. And then I'd go through hard days. I'm like, it's because I didn't get to my gratitude journal. And I'm like, and as I'm healing other things, it's showing up in this space, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like I don't have to work on that area of perfectionism and making sure I get all of the lists done. As I'm healing other things, as I'm learning to love myself, they naturally just become what's important, what's not. Skip the things that aren't.
Right.
And you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
So that's my stuff. So what does your morning routine look like?
My base morning routine. So these are things that I do every day right now. I wake up and go to the gym first thing, because I homeschool and my kids are home. I need to be able to train before they're up. So I get up early, I go to the gym, I come home, and then as they're waking up and having breakfast, I'm spending time with God. So I am reading through the Bible in a year, which I'm super excited about.
Are you on track right now?
I am.
That's awesome.
I am. I've never read through the whole Bible. And I'm not doing it for religious purposes. I'm not doing it to get a badge. There is none, by the way.
I was like, you get one? Oh my gosh.
No. I'm doing it because I want to know him better. I want to know him more intimately. And so I'm doing that. I have my journal. I don't write in that every day. I write in it as I'm feeling led. That is one of the ways that God speaks to me most clearly. So I can sit down with an empty page and a pen and have nothing on my mind and take a breath. And 5 minutes later, I have a whole page.
The things you shared for me shared with me about in your journals, some of your entries they're incredible. My journaling is totally different. And so to hear how yours is, I don't know, it's so beautiful. It really is. It's special.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of the ways God speaks to us in so many different ways. And some people have dreams. Like, I think that's so cool. I want dreams. Can I get that option?
I don't know if you want.
But one of my top ways is that he speaks to me through my journaling and my writing. So my time with him is reading scripture, sometimes journaling. I usually have a worship song in there, and then spending time praying and just talking to him in my living room, and just, like you said, like he's a friend in the living room.
Yeah.
And then
Share the story about when you were in Texas and the kids are like, Mom, what are you doing? And you're on the kitchen table. Because that's what started our conversation of this is what it looks like for me. And I'm like, I love this idea.
Yeah. So I was sitting at the kitchen table. I was in a really hard spot at this time in my life. I sat at the kitchen table and I was talking to God as if he was sitting in the chair at the table. And I think it was Jacob that came in, and he goes, Mom, what are you doing? Because I'm talking to an empty
Out
chair.
loud.
It looks weird. Yes, out loud. It looks weird, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm talking to Jesus, baby. And the next thing I know, he comes around the table. He sits on the bench. He looks at the chair that I was talking to, and he goes, can you please let my mom give me ice cream and candy today? Amen. And then he gets up and he walks back outside to play. I was like, that was the cutest thing ever.
It's cute. It's awesome and funny. It's a funny kid story, but at the same time, I think that's a testament to, I love that neither of us shy away from having this time in front of our kids so that they see what it is.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
And it's going to teach them the importance
I love
of
that
it.
so much. And then the other thing is gratitude. So I don't write mine down, but the last 5 minutes, I usually set a timer for 5 minutes and just thank him for everything that I can think of. And honestly, some days it flows super easy. And then there are some days where it's a little harder.
Thankful for my toenails and my eyelashes.
Yeah, but there's something about gratitude that changes the posture of your heart before the day begins, because with so many kids, with single parenting, really, I feel like anyone, you don't know what that day holds and what you're going to face that day. And so taking that time to posture your heart and asking him to lead you that day really just sets the tone for the day.
I agree. I love that.
And I think that because you and I have been through so much, and everybody has their own shit they've been through.
Yeah.
We appreciate just the mundane. I was just telling a neighbor this at the gym the other day. I was like, I'm thankful that I woke up this morning. I'm thankful that I get to be here at the gym.
And not in like a depressing,
No.
suicidal way.
Yeah. No, just I'm thankful for a second chance at life.
Yeah.
Everything just feels brighter.
But like it's true because I make it an effort to write in my journal. I say things out loud.
Yeah.
And so my kids watch me I'm grateful for things throughout the day, and I talk about it.
Yeah.
And I love that they're catching on, because that's the thing. Sometimes I love that through me working on bettering myself, I don't do it for them directly, meaning like I do it to be a better mom for them and to be a better person, but not for them to be a better person. And yet I watch them mirror so many of those things.
Absolutely.
Which I love.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you do with your kids that are like direct with them? Like what kind of rituals or routines do you have with them that's helping their mental health and their healing?
So that kind of ebbs and flows depending on,
Because they're kids.
right, depending on the season that we're in, depending on what we're facing at that time, depending on how the day goes, depending on how much patience I have left.
Yes.
Let's just be real.
Yes.
So their morning routine, part of their morning routine is that they are supposed to come and tell me 3 affirmations and 3 positive things about themselves.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because as I'm working on loving myself right now, I just this last week, I was like, I need to say nice things about myself out loud. So I hear those things in my own voice.
Yeah.
And I want my kids to not have to deal with it at 36. And so I may adopt that. I want them to hear their voice.
Yeah.
say nice things about themselves. Okay, next pancake. I'm going to make everybody say something nice about themselves.
I love it. That's perfect.
We should explain.
Yeah.
During pancakes on Saturday,
Yeah.
I have everybody tell us before they get their pancake, they have to say something they're grateful for. And then we always do something silly. So whether it's a dance move or a pose or give somebody else a compliment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add,
That's perfect.
say something nice. Okay, so
That's
continue.
perfect.
I love it. See, look at us. Like, I love this. I get to take new things that you teach me all the time. Okay.
I love it. I think the biggest thing when I'm thinking about any kind of routines, or I guess routines is the right word, it needs to be simple.
Yeah.
It needs to be something we can stick with, and it needs to be quick for this season of life that we're in. So them giving me 3 affirmations and 3 positive things about themselves, that's easy and fast.
Well, I like that it's done. Like, you don't have to have everybody doing the same thing to do it. They
Yeah.
get to do it when it works best for them, so that their energy flows well with it. And there's not so much like tension on like, hey, it's time to do this. And like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And then we have family time, and I wish I could say it was every day. It's not, because it's hard.
Yeah.
But we have family time, and what that consists of is us doing a devotional or reading scriptures for 5 minutes, doing some kind of praise and worship for 5 minutes. That's literally just somebody picks a song and we put it on. Usually praise and worship songs are pretty long anyway. And then 5 minutes in prayer. So I'll set a timer for 5 minutes, and everybody goes around and prays for whatever is on their heart. They have freedom to say or do whatever they want to do. And my goal with that is, for me, I did not have those routines established. So it was hard to establish those as an adult.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I first started spending time with God, it was a checklist.
Yeah.
And I set a timer for 5 minutes to read scripture, and 5 minutes for praise and worship, and 5 minutes for prayer. And now that I've been doing it for so long, you crave more. That
Yeah.
hunger for God just grows inside you. And I want to help my babies with that now.
Well, I think that it's okay that it's a checklist at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not like a fake it till you make it, but it's like, I know this is important
Yeah.
until my heart is craving it. And then now it's like, okay, I got to put limits on it, because you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
been sitting here for an hour and a half, probably should do other things.
Oh, it reminds me of training.
Yeah.
Right? When I first started training, there were more days than not that I did not want to get up and go to the
Yeah.
gym. But discipline,
Yeah.
discipline over motivation, because motivation doesn't always last.
Yeah.
It doesn't last. And you choose that discipline, and over time, because it's good for me, it makes me feel good. I crave it, and I want more of it. And
you have
my time with God
muscles.
is the same. I have really cool muscles.
You've got
yeah.
great muscles.
I really love my muscles.
They're so good.
It took 6 years.
Right. But I love that you added that dedication, because I feel the same with the gym, and I feel the same with my time with God.
Yeah.
Is that you put in the time and the dedication. And so it's almost like muscle memory.
Right.
It's like when I don't spend time with God, or when I do have a rest day for the gym, I'm like, I feel like I'm forgetting something today.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels off. And I
Yeah,
like
or
that.
I'm more, if I don't have my time with God, I feel more irritable and less patient. And I'm just like, I feel funky today. Not
Yeah.
bad, but just like, what?
And I think that's because, well, I also think that both you and I are walking with God every day. So it's not like we don't have a prayer in our heart. It's not like we don't stop
Right,
and go,
right.
listen, this isn't working for me right now. But it's just that intentional time to just make sure
Yeah.
we're connecting with Him. It does. It adds a little bit of a funk.
And then I think another important thing that I want to share is that I just have, I don't remember who I heard this from, but she called them breath prayers throughout the day. So I'm not stopping what I'm doing to pray, but as I'm switching laundry from the washer to the dryer, I'm like, Lord, I need help and direction in my finances.
Yeah.
And so all day, just these little things, as if we're doing life with Him. It's not
Yeah.
just a checklist. It's not just going to church on Sunday. He walks with us every single day. He's in my home,
Yeah.
and He is my partner.
Yeah.
And so I talk to Him as if He is all the time. And the kids know. At first, they were like, "This is weird.
Mom's got imaginary
talking to
friends."
herself." Yeah,
This is the grown-up version of imaginary friends.
they're used to it now, though, so it's cool.
We call it a prayer in our heart. And so there's a lot of I got a lot of voices in my head. There's a lot of, so for me it's a lot of this is a term that you had given me, like you would say, I know your heart. And so a lot of times I'm like, God, you know my heart and I can't put what I'm feeling into words. So just like get in there and just like know what's going on, because I can't put into words. I can't think it. And that's going for me every day. It's just like, this is hard. And then I just sit there and I'm like, figure it out, because I don't know how to put it into words.
Here you go.
Here's my heart. Open it up and decipher, because I don't have the key.
Yeah.
But
And then, I mean, we also have, you know, physical things that we do to help our kids heal as well. And one of those is just walking and moving energy.
yeah, my kids have big energy in general, but then I also learned early on moving their little bodies helps them process energy. There was a time when the kid
It helps us process
yeah,
energy.
exactly. But I feel like it started with kids, and then I was like, maybe I should go for a walk. I think I need to move my
Mommy
body.
needs to go for a walk right now. I will be back.
I'm gonna go lift heavy things. Hold on.
Mom's in trouble again. I gotta walk.
Well, so for I'm big on routines because I feel like I easily forget. And if I don't have that discipline and it's not something I crave, it's gone. And so I work on routines a lot with my kids and I, just so that I want them to know what's important. I want them to know when you have a list of things to do, you need to break it down into this is what's important. And if you don't get everything else done, but you get these done, you're good.
Prioritizing.
Yeah. And so we have morning routine and evening routine. Both of those are mainly just getting the kids ready for life, getting dressed, brushing their teeth, stuff like that. But we have more, there are checklists. Really flexible with it, with the chores and stuff, but I don't want to be about our routines, which are us connecting with God. So in our morning routine, we are doing affirmations, we are praying.
Yeah.
We do gratitude. So this is me and all my kids. And I mean, to be honest, any kid that's at my house, I think a couple days ago, 2 of your kids were there and I was like, did you guys want to join us? And then we've got another neighbor girl who loves doing our nighttime routine. We have a family creed. And in the family creed, it just talks about like us being together and being a unit, and we have prayer. And so in the morning I pray, and at night we kind of do a similar thing. We do what's called tap. So I'll pray and then I tap the person next to me and we all go around. But what I love is that I've taken the time to say, why do we do this? What is the purpose? Connecting with God and finding positive things and affirmations and rewiring our brain, because I feel like it's insane how fast the world wires our brain for negativity, to look for the negative, to have that negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And so as you and I are teaching our children, it's when they come to us with a negative comment, how quick do both of us be like, how do we switch that to a positive?
Words are
Power. I just love the little things that we do with these kids, and they love doing it.
They repeat that all the time.
Yeah. So when somebody comes up with negative things, all the kids go, words have, and then the whole gang yells power.
Yeah.
And so I say, so do something good with it. Power, positive. So yeah, we do a lot of walks. We have that app, that affirmations app that will just pop up an affirmation. And now that your girls have phones and they have it, so we've got 4 phones who now have this app. And at any point during the day, somebody gets an affirmation, they read it out loud, and there's 15 children often.
Yes.
That all know these little routines throughout the day.
Yeah.
So one person reads the affirmation and everybody repeats it. And I am loving that we have so many things like this throughout the day.
Yeah.
The words have power. Like, so it sounds like we're running some sort of like... I don't even know what. We just got these kids chanting things throughout the day.
Yeah.
But it's consistent. We are consistently giving them a space of peace. When kids are having an angry moment, we talk to them about, this is a peaceful space. You can have your emotions. We let our kids have emotions, but making sure that they do it in a safe way where they're not hurting other people's peace. And I love that we give our kids the space to have emotions, but I think coach them through it.
That's so important, because growing up, I was not allowed to be angry and I was not allowed to cry. And that has majorly affected me being an adult.
Haven't noticed.
And so I love that that's something important to us, that God gave us these emotions and they are good things, but there are appropriate ways to handle those emotions.
Yeah. I love that as we are learning lessons, we are then teaching them. So we've got kids from 5 to 15 learning lessons that we are just now understanding and figuring out. And it makes me excited to see what kind of grown-ups they're going to be.
Yeah.
Because they are getting a jump start.
Yeah.
So I was having a conversation with one of your girls, And she was just a little frustrated about not having a dad and just life. Yeah. And I was just like, I was sharing with her that I had the same sentiments. I was like, my kids aren't getting to be kids. Yeah. And as I was talking to a friend, I was, he was asking, how are the kids? And I was like, they are going through things they shouldn't have to. They are dealing with grown-up emotions that they shouldn't have to. And it sucks. Mm-hmm. And he's like, but how awesome is it that they have these tools so young? They have life lessons and life tools that they're going to be really awesome adults. And I was so grateful for that perspective because he's totally right. Yeah. Like, yes, our kids are going through hard things, but because God is so great, they're going to come out with positives with it. Absolutely. They're going through those hard things in our homes, under our roofs, under our discipleship and our leadership, so we can show them that what you're going through sucks and it's not fair, but here's how we handle it. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of unfair shit that's going to happen the rest of their lives, and they need to know how to handle it. It's not isolated just in the fact that we have 2 divorced families. Right. Everybody in the world. Yeah. We are not isolated with the really crappy hand dealt. Right. So I love that. I love that they are experiencing all of that under our discipleship with them. I feel that having you here has made teaching my kids this way so much more fun and so much easier, and like kind of the same thing like with my time with God in the morning. Like I crave it. Yeah. Like what other fun things can we teach them? Because I love when we're at Burn Barrel and an affirmation comes up. Yeah. And one of us will read it and they all repeat it, and all the other grown-ups just look at each other like, what just happened? Yeah. And we're like, this is how we do this. Yeah. And some of it's their kids, and they're like, why did my kid just repeat this? you know? And you're like, but I don't know. It's one of those things where we make it fun and we talk about the hard things, and then they get to do those things together. So they've got this group of kids who, it's not like, well, Bobby over there thinks I'm weird. It's like, no, their entire circle is down for this kind of healing and learning, and it's incredible. I have the doctor that the kids go see has shared a lot of the ideas that we've had. So the walking started with him. So when Adam was younger, he would cry so hard that he would stop breathing. And it's not like a lot of people are like, oh, he's holding his breath. I'm like, no. Have you ever cried so hard that you can't get air? That's what it would be like. And he would get so bad he'd pass out. So if I heard him crying and I couldn't get there, like if I could hear him doing that cry, I'd have to book it so I could catch him. And there were times where he wouldn't come to. And so I think there's one time we had to call an ambulance, and another time I think we were like having to resuscitate him. It was terrible. But it was all emotion based. There's no physical thing happening. Like he'd just get upset and just would cry so hard he couldn't breathe. So as we took him to the doctor, we worked on some things. And one of the things, like when he gets worked up like that, you need to do what's called walk the dog. The kids need to get out of their head, because one of the things he also says, emotions are neither good nor bad, nor right nor wrong, just information of needs unmet. And so when, as kids, because how many times have you been in an emotional state? I really love that. Can you say that one more time? Yes. So emotions are neither good nor bad, neither right nor wrong. They're just information of needs unmet. Yeah. So when you're angry, that's not bad. When you're sad or depressed, none of that's bad. It's just, where are my needs not being met? And for kids, a lot of times it's hard for them to work through that. I think adults is a little bit easier because we can articulate a little bit more. Right. But to be honest, some of us. Yeah, actually, I take that back. I think it's hard for all of us. And so he had said to do what's called walk the dog. So he said, take them for a walk, move their body, move that energy, get them out of their head. And he was like, you don't need to talk to them. He's like, at this age, they can't really articulate that, which was interesting because I was like, no, I've worked with my kids long enough, even at this young age of 2, we can talk through it. Yeah. And so there was a time where Adam had a moment, and so we'd go walking well before he'd get to the pass out stage. And he'd be sad, and I was like, cry all you want. We're going to walk and you're going to cry and it's going to be great. Yeah. And as soon as you're ready, we will talk about it and we will solve your problem. Yep. And that was it. One of the things that I do a ton with my kids is breathing. It's like, hey, you're feeling upset. Let's take some deep cleansing breaths. So we do a lot of that in our meditations and all the things that we do. We stop and we learn to breathe. And doing that with Adam kept him from passing out, which is super great.
Yeah.
Love that. But helped him process these emotions that otherwise would get jammed up. And now we're carrying it over, and it looks different because I don't have kids passing out anymore. But we have walks with kids. There's times where I'm like, take a lap.
How many times do you and I, though, have something going on and we're just struggling with it and feeling so many emotions and feeling out of our body, and then we hit a hard training session, and afterwards we're like, I feel better.
Yeah. What I'm noticing is I need to do like the internal healing and the internal work, and then I need to go do the physical movement of it, and then I need to replace that with something positive, right? So you're cleansing the negative and replacing it with the positive. Otherwise the negative can sneak back in. But yeah, that's, I think, one of the reasons why training's been so important.
Which is funny because I work opposite of that. I need to physically get it out first.
Yeah.
Before I can sit down and internally handle
But that
what's
fits
going
us
on.
perfect because I'm a talker.
Yes.
And you're a thinker. So you've got to get that leaked out of there first.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love that we're not trying to fit a mold.
Yeah.
We're just trying to do the best we can.
Okay, so one of my favorite things about us just having this lifestyle of healing is that all these different things that we're talking about, we have these little routines, and maybe talking about them sounds like we have these checklists or these, really strict routines, but we don't. These, what we're doing are small things throughout the day, and the routines are, just minutes long.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things is that it fits our lifestyle. So like you were saying, around Burn Barrel, we've got everybody repeating an affirmation. Everybody's playing basketball and somebody says something negative or mean. Words have power.
Right.
It just fits our lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite parts because that makes it real and authentic. It's not a checklist.
Yeah. But we can use our intuition. I think that's one of the things I love.
Right.
Is sometimes the ideas that you come up with are on the fly.
Yes.
And I'm like, I love that. You're like, I just thought of it. And I'm like, let's implement that.
Yeah.
But it's stuff that we can do on the fly, and we can use our motherly intuition that you and I think early on as moms tapped into.
Yeah.
Because we're both interested in natural healing and natural birth and stuff like that. You have to learn how to tap into that intuition. So because we partner with God, and because we partner with ourselves and our inner voice, and we know that voice well, we can show up for these kids in that way that you were talking about, in an authentic way, on the fly. Just it's not a checklist.
It's not. I love it because a kid can be having a really difficult time or going through something, and the first things going through my mind is this something that really needs to be dealt with? Is there an underlying issue? Does this kid need a nap? Does this kid need a snack? Does this kid need a walk?
Yeah.
It could be any right. It could be any of those things, and so it is authentic and it's on the fly a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a meme that I've seen floating around social media. It says, I remember one time in the Bible, Elijah was so mad at God that he wanted to die. And he took a nap and had a snack and things felt better. And I was like, I have never related with a meme so hard.
Or the Bible. I love that, as with my perfectionism, I've had to learn to let things go. But what that's done is it's given me the opportunity to learn how to ebb and flow.
Yeah.
So my connecting with God, the way that I parent, the peaceful parenting, or the boundary setting with my kids has... it's looked different throughout all 13 years of that. But what that does is I love this I talk about my tool belt, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like we both have so many tools because there are 10 children that we are stewards over. And we include the other, like I said, we include the neighborhood kids. So we have upwards of 15 children that are under our care that I feel very led to be a part of their lives in a healing, positive way.
Yeah.
So we don't exclude them with, hey, you're having negative words. Okay, let's fix it.
Right.
Let's work
Because
on it.
we also protect our homes. Our homes are safe, healing places. And
Gosh,
so
how hard did you work for that? So I am not, we worked so damn hard for that.
Long
I am
time.
not letting that negative energy come in because like, even with my own kids, I'm like, you're going to be nasty. Get out.
Yeah.
Take that. Go put that into a tree.
Yep.
Not like don't violently hurt the tree, but put the energy towards the tree. Because that's the idea, is that you send the negative energy to the heavens to be purified or to the ground to be purified.
But listen, we do the same thing when we go up the canyon in a rage.
Right. We scream in the
Literally, we literally scream in the canyon,
No,
guys.
we had a friend who was like, why do you come up here? We're like, to yell at the canyon.
and she takes it all in.
She
and then
does.
we leave without it.
Yeah, it's
amazing.
But I love that our tool belts are so full to be able to help each of the kids. We're willing to learn. We're willing to adapt. We're willing to understand that we're not right all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that for us to know we're not perfect, to know we're going to mess up, to apologize to our kids. Like, I didn't handle that well.
Yeah.
Like, we are really good parents. We are such good parents. And that's hard for me to say because that's not what I've been told for the majority of raising children.
Yeah.
And so this is me hearing it for myself. But as we're laying all this out, our kids are so damn lucky to have this kind of support. But then to have the love of the people around them who just show them unconditional love, which they need.
Yeah.
But no, I think that this is where we have taken a really hard thing and we have turned it into a positive. We have taken the hardness of our relationships, because for me, a lot of what I learned is because I had to fight so hard for peace in my home that I never got, but I needed moments. And so I had to fight for it in all different ways. So I have a lot of tools in my tool belt because I needed to have them. And now I've got a plethora of ideas and I'm always wanting new ones. And I love hearing other people's opinions. And I'm fine being wrong.
Yeah.
I'm fine messing up. I'm fine apologizing to my kids. And then they get to learn, oh, okay, it's okay to mess up.
Yes.
But this is how we handle it.
Yes.
I
Which
mean,
is so important because
for
we're all
healing.
going to mess up.
Yeah, not perfect. So how do you feel like, because 4 years ago, I mean, less than 4 years ago, well, let's do this. How do you feel like you've been able to show up for your kids now that you're in Utah? Like, is it, because you say, this is where we're supposed to be. So how has that changed how your healing has looked? Has it changed how your parenting has gone? Because like your life is nothing resemblant to what it was before.
Yeah.
So how did you figure out how to shift and change how you help your kids heal and parent when nothing was the same? There's snow here, you have a basement, your kids can play outside without you. Like literally nothing is the same.
Yeah.
So how did you manage that?
That feels like a really packed question.
Okay, so go with whatever. Use your intuition and
I
share
will.
with whichever.
Like, Holy Spirit, lead me.
We could do a whole episode just on that.
Yeah, we could. Write that down. Life has changed a lot for us here, and it has definitely made me a better mom because there's so much peace and so much joy and so much support. I'm able to breathe more. I'm able to relax more, which in turn makes me a better mom. I have more patience. I love I love that our neighborhood feels like an old fashioned neighborhood in the 50s.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. Because the kids are just playing all the time. They're not inside on devices and screens. And I mean, even in the snow, my kids still love the snow at this point.
Yeah.
I love that they're out doing that. And so, I'm frustrated way less. I'm way less angry. I have more patience to really dig to the root cause of what's going on, because they're not being jerks just to be jerks. They're not being mean just to be mean. There's something going on, and to be able to sit down and help them walk through that and unpack it, and take it back a step and back another step and back another step until we get to what the real root issue is. The peace is just like, I can't even put into words the peace that we have here.
That's awesome.
And I think so that we're together a lot more, and it just feels good. We're just enjoying each other. One thing that my dad says a lot, I'm the oldest of 7. And one of my dad's biggest parenting advice is train less, enjoy them more, because the time goes by so fast. And you and I were just talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Math is important. You do have to learn how to do math, right? Like, math is important.
But like how much? Like
Right.
Just wondering.
Because now we have Siri and Alexa. But really, at the end of the day, like, are you a good person? What are your values? What are your character?
When you stand in front of your maker, is he going to say, listen, you got a 60%
in math
in your 3rd grade math test? Or is he going to go, I'm so proud of you for not murdering anybody?
So I love,
Perspective.
Absolutely.
I had the conversation with that neighbor, the widow, and we were talking about how important, I was like, my relationship with my kids is more important to me than if they get all their homework done. And my mother's going to kill me because she's a school teacher. But I'm like, listen, if they're being kind to people at school, if they are caring for others, if they are helping and participating with light and love,
Yeah.
I don't super care about their grades,
Right.
because who they are is way more important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that picking your battles is important.
Yes.
And I think that understanding that perspective of where do I need to put my energy?
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, I had my first runaway. Like, first legit runaway.
Welcome to the club.
It was my first legit runaway. He packed a bag.
Yeah, he did.
He left a message.
What did he put in his bag? Do you even
I
know?
don't even know. Probably snacks. Like, probably not winter gear. He would have. But it was the kind of thing where he left, and I, like, some of the kids are like, he's leaving. And I'm like, cool, let him go.
Yeah.
I'm like, leave him alone. You don't need to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
He needs a minute. Mm-hmm. But I had every confidence he was going to come back.
Now, he did also have his watch on,
Yes.
which you can track him with.
I mean, it's slow as all get out, but yeah, I could track him. But I know my neighborhood is safe,
Mm-hmm.
and I trust that kid. He had a hard time, and I look back right now, I'm thinking about it. I look back, he was having a hard time, and I didn't show up for him the way that he needed. I was also in a house with 12 children.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not 12, it felt like 12. I was in a house full of children while I was trying to make dinner
Yeah.
with 1,000 questions. And I was behind because I had a handyman here and we were trying to get stuff done. So, right? So now that I think about it, he probably had needs unmet. And I could have done a better job at showing up for him, and I didn't. But at the same time, I don't think there's one way to do anything. So
Right.
he took off. But, like, I trust him because we have a relationship, because I'm not willing to ruin our relationship because he has 15 missing things.
Right.
Now, he has been that kid that has had 15 missing assignments. And at one point, I was like, I'm done fighting with you about this. If you want to have bad grades, then that's great.
Yeah.
That's your call. I want you to know if you need help with things, I'm here. If you need me to take you to school early, that's great. If you need to talk to your teacher, that's fine. But I love that I teach my kids how to be independent. I'm like, here's a problem. I am here to help you, but it's your job to solve it, not mine.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to do your homework for you, and I'm not going to hassle you about getting it done. So this year, his first term, he was struggling. Like, he was having missing work. But when the term ended, I got an email from the teacher, like, your child has several missing. And I was like, I'm not even going to look to see what it is. I don't have the time or energy. And it's not going to change the kind of kid that he is. And right now, he's an awesome kid. He is
Yeah.
doing so well. I'm not going to ruin our relationship and what we're dealing with right now for these assignments. Something clicked with him all on his own. And he has been on honor roll since. Honor roll. That means like straight A's or something. I don't super know. I think it means straight A's.
I love that.
Right? But it's like he did that all on his own. So when we went to parent-teacher conference, his teacher had the opportunity to go, he's been on honor roll. And I was like, he has? And we got to celebrate him because he did it. I didn't do it. And that was such a good learning experience for me to just be like, it's the journey. It's not the end result.
Yeah.
So this kid figured it out for himself and got all the reward. And our relationship is good. So that he
Yeah.
could run away and I could say, yeah, he needs a minute.
Yeah.
He'll be back. And when he came back, we straightened things out because there was a lot of disrespect. And again, I didn't have the capacity to walk him through that. So I just sent him to his room, which he didn't like. Rightfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But we made the discussion of you don't get to be disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to go for a walk because you're being disrespectful, then do that.
Right.
And that I think that comes with you and I teaching our kids this. We hold them to a higher standard.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, and we can tell them, you're having a hard time. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, well, here's all the options that we've
Right.
practiced and you know how to do. Are you going to meditate? Are you going to use oils? Are you going to pray? Are you going to walk? Those are my first four.
Mm-hmm.
I usually start with prayer because I feel like that's the most effective. But what are these things are you going to do to help calm yourself down?
Yeah.
And I let them figure it out instead of go put your nose in the corner.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because half the time, like you said, half the time they're not being jerks to be jerks.
Yeah.
They're not having a freak out because they're wanting to ruin everybody's day. They're going through something.
Yeah.
So I love
And
that.
I love that because it's not just consequences. It's
No.
not a punishment. It's here's the path that we're walking. You're now over here. So what do you need to get you back over here? And I love that we're directing that and we're showing them and we're guiding them, but we're giving them options to give. They have the power to get themselves back on track. We're
Yes.
just here to guide and go, wait, come back this way. Hold on, come back this way to get back on that path. And I think that is incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Would you like, I need you to do, like, Gina, you're veering. Come on back. Here's your options.
How many times does God do that with us?
Right. He just needs to text it to us. Be a little more clear.
That would be amazing. That would
But
be
I think
amazing.
that's why he gave us each other and relationships. And
Yeah.
that's why we're supposed to be together. We're supposed
Right.
to have life partners, and we're supposed to have community, and we're supposed to be there for each other.
Right.
Because there were so many times in my marriage that he would bring something up and I was like, I had no idea. And it's not like I'm happy to shift or change. Like, I am not here to hurt you.
Yeah.
So if I'm hurting you, it's not on purpose.
Right.
And with you, I don't have to tell you that. You're the one telling me. You're like, I know you're not trying to hurt me.
Yeah, and that's why when you and I have discussions, whether it's something we see in the kids or something that we see in each other, we have uncomfortable conversations. We have hard
But
conversations.
they don't feel uncomfortable or hard at all.
Because it's coming and saying, I know your heart, but just so you know, when you do or say this, this is how it's received. And that describes our relationship perfectly. We have that trust. We know each other's heart. And so we're able to have the position to speak into each other's lives, even when it may be uncomfortable.
And that's what I wanted in a partner. I was like, I can't see when I'm in and I'm in my head and I'm doing my own thing. Like, I don't have the same perspective somebody else has where it's like, hey, by the way, this is not received well. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
And that is on growing older and maturing, because when you're young, you're like, this is the way it is, and I see it clearly. But we know, but we know that when we are in a situation, outside perspective can be really helpful and important, no matter what the situation is.
But I love that you're willing to do that for me. You called me out the other day, and I love that I have zero defense. I think about it because I know you're not going to come up and tell me anything.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, you're really annoying to hurt my feelings. You're wanting me to be a better person.
Yeah.
And you know that I want to be a better person.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm looking for in a companion. Someone that's willing to call me on my stuff.
Yes.
Who's not afraid to.
Yeah.
And that I continue to be self-aware and not get defensive and hear what people have to say.
Yeah.
But equally give out compliments of just like, hey, just so you know, you're doing really good with this. So anyway, I just keep thinking about how awesome it is that our kids have both homes that function the same way.
Yeah.
Function really, really similarly in this idea of we heal, we grow. There's a lot of grace.
Yeah.
We give our kids in each other a lot of grace, which I'm so grateful for. But I think that not all healing has to be big and ugly.
Yeah.
A lot of times it is. A lot of times it's super painful.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot. But I also think that we don't recognize how much healing we do on a day-to-day basis because it's second nature.
Yeah.
And I love that that's a culture that we are developing and it's spreading to all the people around us. That's something that we have to offer the world in our kids, in the community that we're creating. And it feels awesome.
I love that. And I think that segues perfectly into kind of how I was thinking we would end this today. Just that today, right as I am, as healed or unhealed as I am, I'm worthy right now today. And so are you, and so are all 10 of our babies.
Yeah.
This is a lifelong journey of healing, but right now, today, exactly as we are unconditionally loved, and we are worthy.
And it's such an important lesson because it's one I didn't have growing up, and not because of anything bad. It wasn't one that I was taught, so I'm learning.
Yeah.
And I love that as I learn, I teach my kids what I'm learning. So we talk about self-love. We talk about all of those things, how worthy we are just right here as we are.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we stop. That doesn't mean we don't continue to grow and heal and be better people.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. I want my kids to know that healing is beautiful. It's hard, but if you have the right perspective and you have the right community, it's so worth it.
That was a hard lesson for me to learn because after going through so much dark, I was on the bandwagon of like, we got to heal, like my time with God. I need to be reading self-development. I need to be listening to podcasts and listening to books. And
Is this like right after your divorce or is it before?
Yeah, no, after. And I need to be healing all the time, but I quickly got burnt out from just trying to do a checklist. Like in my mind, I wanted to check all of the boxes and be like, officially healed, baby.
I
I want a
made it.
t-shirt.
We have a lot of t-shirts and a lot of badges.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. You know, sometimes there are really big things to heal, and then sometimes there are weeks that are just beautiful, and there might be little healing going on in there, but it's just peaceful. And
Which I think is kind of better than a t-shirt.
yeah, that's true.
But and it also has created such a really beautiful life that both of us have created for our kids.
Yeah.
And so I love that neither of us shy away from the healing moment,
Yeah.
shy away from a hard conversation with each other or our kids, and show them that what may feel hard for you and I because of our past doesn't have to be hard for them.
Yeah,
And our kids' spouses, you're welcome.
you're so welcome.
You're so freaking welcome.
For real.
But I think our kids are pretty amazing, and I think it's because you and I are pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
feel like
And then
we're just-
our favorite, I feel like we should just end with our favorite healing things, like going up the canyon, blasting
Oh my
music with
gosh.
windows down.
But how many of our kids have now adopted that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a neighbor was like, "Why are you always leaving at this same time every day?" And I'm like, "Because I take Julia's kids home, and they have to go for a drive with music, and it's like a little bit warm, and we've got windows down, and there's
Yeah.
kids like it's freezing. We're like, suck it up, Buttercup. We're healing."
Bring a blanket. Dance parties.
Yes.
Dance parties with our kids are
Mm-hmm.
the best. And so they're just, I can just look and see all of these beautiful healing moments that where maybe I'm not focusing on something exactly that I'm healing, but
But you're healing.
We're having a dance party with all 10 of our kids, and I'm like, this is
Dancing in the rain. Dancing
Yeah.
in the rain. You wouldn't think it's healing, but we're connecting and making memories with our kids, which I think is so
Yeah.
healing. Because I
Yep.
want my kids to look back and be like, my mom was so freaking present.
Yeah.
And we have so many traditions now that came from that our kids are going to walk away with this. I'm hoping that they walk away with this idea of my childhood was awesome.
Yeah.
My moms, my non-lesbian moms were there. So like the kids are already talking about this tradition we now have that when it rains and it's warm that we play flies up in the street.
Yeah.
And that neighbors are commenting. They're like, what, why?
You have to say what flies up is, because not everybody will know.
It's just a football game where one person's over here, the group is over here. You throw the ball, whoever catches it gets to go over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it can be, sometimes there's numbers involved, but like points.
Yeah.
But we're playing in the street, we're playing in the rain, we're getting in
love
the
that.
puddles. But the memories, like our kids, like
Yes.
I freaking love it. I play kid tag with my kids
Yeah.
in the house, and I don't know, just all these things. And I think those are all healing moments.
Yeah. There's so much of just enjoying life and
Yeah.
enjoying them. And there are absolutely moments of correction. But for the most part, it's just living life and enjoying. And that in and of itself is so healing.
Right? Like that's the second chance at life.
Yeah.
For me. It's not the fact that I get to go find, a partner that's actually going to show up for me and love me appropriately.
Yeah.
It's that I get to be like, it will be that. But like right now, I get to live this second life right now with my kids, being the best mom I can be. One of my favorite things that I've learned is that, and it is kind of an arrival moment in my healing, was when I felt like I finally got to become the woman that God created me to be. And I'm ever evolving. But I felt like I was in such survival mode that he's over there like, you do what you need to do, but you are so much more than this.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's like, hey, I get to use you now.
Yeah.
You are now one of my soldiers. You're one of my instruments in my hands. And you get to be happy. And I get to do that with my kids and your kids. And and we get to show them how to be happy and healing every day.
Yep.
Oh, no, I'm just like really
So
like,
good.
my cup is filling over right now. I'm so happy.
Yeah. It's so good.
And we can absolutely end with our gratitude.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Go ahead.
Oh man.
I know. I feel so overwhelmed with so much
I
happiness.
know. I feel so full right now.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'm just grateful for this life, for the peace that we have. Just yesterday I was having just a really funky moment. And so before work, I called a bunch of the kids into the kitchen and I was like, Mommy needs a dance party before work.
I love
Just
it.
to move some energy, just to have that peace in my home and just dance it out. And
I love that it's peace in your home, and I guarantee the music was on full blast.
Yes, it was.
Right? Like, I love that learning that peace doesn't have to be quiet and serene.
Yeah. No, yeah. The music was on full blast. We, had a song going. I was like, listen, Mommy can say that word. You cannot. I will sing that one myself. And we just danced it out. And
Yeah.
so life is so good and so full, and I'm so grateful.
Like cup runneth over, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so big right now.
That's what she said.
Not yet.
I'm sorry. You walked into that.
That's what she said. Okay. I am so grateful for the person that I am right here in front of you today. I really like her, and I'm gonna cry. As I'm learning to love myself, it's really interesting to feel it inside fully, and to think of how I'm showing up as my authentic self, to have those dance parties without worrying about what I look like and how I'm being received, to the point where I walk my driveway between sets at the gym when I'm working out.
Yeah.
And I noticed the other day I'm walking, like dancing, which is very me, but to do it in public, yes, it's my driveway, but there's people here. Or to be at Burn Barrel and dancing.
Yeah.
I am loving that my authentic me is not hidden behind closed doors. So I'm not only just learning out who I am, but she is out in the world, and I really like her. And people still like her. Like I'm learning.
Yeah.
That people are like, no, you're awesome. And I'm like, okay. So like, not only am I not conforming to be who you want me to be, I am being my true authentic self, and I'm still being received well.
I love
And I'm
that.
so grateful for that journey, because I feel like that's a version of me that's going to be the best mom and the best friend and the best partner and God's daughter. So I'm so grateful for that journey and to be me.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Amen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Unfiltered Summit Sisters.
Come join us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to get a sneak peek into our lives.
It's beautiful, chaotic, crazy, and fun.
What else would you expect raising 10 kids?
All the links you need are in the show notes.
See you next week.